experienced culture shock? Have you ever experienced
Yes,
culture shock?
I think I experienced I experienced culture shock. One time I gone to Panama. One time I gone to Panama. I noticed in other countries. I noticed in other countries a lot of people they really don't really have a lot. But they really have a lot, but they really have like real close family bonds. So here in the United States, a lot of people like to float about their materialistic items, they can really have other countries less. They can really have so much less shock that they you're like shocked that they actually have a close knit family walk into the market. That would be an occasion where I've experienced cultural shock.
Do you consider yourself a conformist or a deviant?
I'm a deviant. I always like to consider myself going the opposite way of the masses. So if something comes out, whether it's a musical project or a movie or something, I really won't go where a lot of people go. But I would consider myself a deviant type person. I'm always willing to go against the grain.
What do you think most impacted your socialization? Why?
What most impacted my socialization would be being diverse, traveling to other countries, being very young, appreciating relationships, not just materialistic items. So that helped me really grow up having more so a diverse mindset, also going to school, and then further my education and really traveling to see the world.
Do you believe the death penalty should exist?
I think the death penalty should exist. I mean, I am a Christian, but I believe that an eye for an eye, basically. I mean, it's kind of harsh to say, but I don't believe that it's fair or just for somebody to go out and do something against someone else and not have to witness the same experience or adverse effect.
Do you believe that homeless people being homeless is their own fault? Why?
I do not believe it's their own fault. I actually work for the Department of Veteran Affairs, and one of the major initiatives is homelessness of veterans. So I realize not only with veterans, but then also with everyday Americans, homelessness is really triggered by social or mental illness. A lot of times that's what kind of drives it. So I don't believe anyone would want to be without an inhabitable home or without having warmth or shelter. So I believe it is more so connected with a mental illness.
Have you ever experienced racism, and do you have an example?
I have experienced racism. One of the early triggers, I guess, I was raised in Kentucky. One of the early triggers for me would be one time I was walking from the store along a busy highway, and someone threw a beer can outside their window, and they yelled out a racial slur, like, "Hey!" the racial slur. So although I wasn't confronted immediately with it, but that being a youth kind of stayed as a landmark in my mind of a racial experience. Although there were others, but that's the one that stands out most noticeably in my mind.
Do you think that reverse racism exists?
I believe reverse racism does exist. Also have another example for that. One time I was at a mall with my cousin. My cousin, she's very fair-skinned. She can actually pass for Caucasian if you didn't know otherwise. But one time I was walking into the mall with her, and these African-American females of the same race was really going at me really hard, like saying derogatory things and words to me. More so because they thought that my cousin was of a different race and she was a girlfriend of mine. So that would be an experience where I've experienced reverse racism.
What do you think the difference between sex and gender is?
I think sex is really more so what you're born, depending upon the chromosome that you inherit from your father. Gender would be more so, I think, on how someone likely identifies themselves as. So that would be my definition.
Yeah. Do you think love is a feeling or a choice?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think with anything you need to have emotional awareness and then also rational awareness. It is a feeling, but then also if someone doesn't treat you right, then you have the choice to leave them alone, yet still have love for them.
Do you think nature or nurture affects socialization more?
I think nurture, because nature is your surrounding, but nurturing I feel is really hands-on. So you can really more so mold it and develop it with a hands-on approach, being very nurturing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in society, but if you embrace that in your home, then you're nurturing and setting a condition for that behavior.
What would you consider your master status?
My master status would be, that makes me most proud is having a family. And I think that's really, also just not being a statistic, being educated, being a leader in my home and also at the workplace, and then also just being proudful of my family.
Do you have any special traditions in your culture?
Not specifically. What I think a tradition is that when our children, I have 2 children, my wife and I have 2 children. But one tradition that we're starting to embrace is that when it's the children's birthday, they actually give my wife a gift because she's the one that gave birth to them. So that's one thing that we're hoping to establish as a legacy, as a tradition.